Alright guys, so we're back. I just finished showing you the ways you can format cells, okay? Here too, like I was telling you, more accounting formats. You're going to get the euro here, the franc, forgive my mispronunciation, the pound, okay? So depending on what currency you're working in. Okay, and then just ways of formatting your table or your workbook. Let's go to that. Okay, normal cell looks like that, bad, and then you can go in and change the stuff. You set it up pretty much to begin with anyway. So it's showing you, if you can look in my little cell J18, what happens when I sort of hover over these different styles. Okay, here's the place to insert, delete, format cells again. Click on that. It's going to get just row height, auto fit row height, which is nice. Hide rows, hide columns. You can protect your sheet. So lots of things you're going to see cross over into different tabs. Okay. Maybe you enter in two numbers here, 3 and like 2. Okay. And you say, hey, I want those to be added up. I don't want to have to do it myself, even though that's 5. So I'm going to highlight them. I'm going to come over here and click on Auto Sum. You can see it'll give you a little explanation there of what's going to happen. Automatically added up. Your total will appear after the selected cells. So I click it. Guess it just appeared over here. The addition of 3 plus 2 is 5. And the computer did it for me using this handy little formula that you see up here in your formula bar. So I had mentioned in a little bit of PowerPoint that we watched that each cell has a name. Okay, so this guy here that we're working in, it's highlighted by the green box. This is A3. Another way you could tell which cell you're working in, right here. Name box, okay, it's showing you A3, so you know, okay, that's what's happening in A3. Then we have this super awesome bar right here. This is our formula bar. And the formula bar shows you what formula is lurking there behind this pretty little 5 we have. Okay, and obviously this is extremely simple example. But sometimes you're going to have tons of numbers you need to add. Obviously you don't want to do it yourself. Okay, so you're going to use Excel to do it for you. All formulas in Excel start with an equal sign. That's just the way it is. Okay, so you need to make sure if you're going to handwrite, excuse me, not handwrite, like type in any of these formulas, always start with an equal sign so that Excel says, oh, we're getting ready to do some sort of formula here. It sends Excel that signal. And then in this case, it's doing a sum, a summation, okay? It's adding, in other words, here, the 3 and the 2. And it shows you here, there's multiple ways to do this, but this is the neatest, tidiest way to do it. Okay, equals summation of cell A1 through cell A2. Okay, so I know this cursor puts up a circle, but I hope you can see here. We have a parentheses, the start of our parentheses here, then it puts it in the first cell, which is A1. The colon here just represents basically like through. Okay, so we're doing the sum of A1 through cell A2. And then you close it off and enter in your the other parentheses on the other end. So believe it or not, this is like programming a computer. Okay, it's nice in Excel. It does it itself. We don't have to type this in, but if you need to, you should know how. So there you go. Okay, don't forget. This is just doing a nice, easy little sum. It's very helpful when you have. Let's get rid of that. Let's just, if you had, say this column went down to like the 100th, okay, to A100, all full of numerical values, and you wanted them to be added up at the end, instead of you coming here to your formula bar and typing in, you know, equals A1, which this is another way you can do it. You don't have to do the parentheses, plus A2. Okay, and you can see, isn't it nice that it sort of gives you the color here as you go. Shows you, okay, cell A1 A1 is blue, A1 here is blue. A2 is red, A2 is red. Okay, plus A, and you don't have to capitalize, but it just looks nicer. A3 is going to make purple, and so on and so on. If you had to go in and type that all the way through A100, you would go crazy and you'd say, this is a giant waste of my time, right? So instead of having to do that, like I told you, you could just type in sum, okay, do your parentheses, and it gives you your hints here. So you don't have to remember everything. If you just can remember some of this stuff, then it'll give you these nice, helpful little prodding hints. Now you're going to put in, what are you starting at? What's your first number? We're starting with cell A1, right? Okay. And since we don't want to have to type plus A2, plus A3, plus A4, plus A5, we're going to put in our colon. We're going to put in A100. So now you can see it highlighted all the way down. If we wanted to scroll down to 100, we'd see it would stop there. We're not going to do that. Let's close our parentheses, okay, and press enter. And since we happen to be in cell C2 when I was typing that, that's where it put the answer. It's still 5 because we didn't put any additional information here. But if I were to come in and say add a 3 and click over here, look what happened. The number changed, right? Because now we have 8 is our new total. And that's the beauty here of using the cell names. And, it's automatically going to update this stuff for you. You didn't have to go in and put in, oh, by the way, I added in a 3. It automatically knows that. So I hope that makes sense to you. I think it's really important for you to understand that computer programming isn't just about writing in Java or like Python or whatever language, okay? This is part of it. This is doing it right here. And obviously you're not just going to do addition. If so, again, why would we need Excel? This gives you some different functions, okay? Average, count numbers, max and min, and then even more functions down here depending on what you need to do. Standard deviation, okay? So you statistics people, I'm sure you are also Excel masters. All right. So that's the Home tab. Okay, if you want to find something, you can click on Find and Select. You can always also do Control F, pop up Find and Replace, and you can just look at whatever you're looking for there. I'm trying not to ramble on because I don't want you to have to watch 45 minutes of this, but it's Excel and it has a lot of information and it's complicated. It can get extremely complicated, but we're going to keep it simple. Okay, Insert tab. So here we are in the Insert tab. Again, you can insert pictures, online pictures, shapes, smart art, screenshots, all different kinds of things in Excel, just like as in Word. Okay, add-ins are here. Charts. Charts are cool. We click on our dialog box launcher. To create a chart, select the cells that contain the data you'd like to use. If you have names for the rows and columns and you'd like to use them as labels, include them in your selection. Okay. So whatever information that you have, okay, you'll highlight it. Say you want all the information here into whatever chart you're going to choose. Highlight it. Come and select. Maybe you want a bubble chart. Okay, I have no information, so obviously nothing is going to be on my chart, right? But it'll give you a preview of what it's going to look like. Click on it, and there you go. Come in here, change the style. It's pretty cool, guys. Excel sounds really boring, but you can do a lot of stuff with it. Okay, back to Insert tab. So there's your charts, all different types of charts. So you'll mess around with that. Sparklines creates these little teeny tiny charts that are actually inside a cell. Text, different symbols. Maybe you want to put in the binomial theorem somewhere. Okay, that's going to happen. Thankfully, we're not going to talk about the binomial theorem right now. Keeps kicking us out of the Insert tab. So that's the Insert tab. Page layout. How do you want your page to look? Basically, margins, orientation, the size, the print area. Where do you want to insert page breaks if you want to? Do you want it to print the titles? Okay. Nice. I can repeat that for you because sometimes you're going to have more than one page of information. And actually, that's most of the time. Here is if you want to print your grid lines. I always like to print my grid lines. It helps me. Headings, if you want to print those, you can click that as well. Again, we're here in the page layout tab. Okay, I don't know why it's giving me this. Okay, there. Formulas, this is a great one. So we're going to insert some functions. You come do it here. Here's your summation. Click on that. It's going to give you this same stuff that we have on the Home tab. Like I told you, a lot of this crosses over. This is going to show you the most recently used functions, formulas that you've used. Sum, average, if, hyperlink, standard deviation, whatever you haven't used. Financial, okay, lots of different functions there. Logical, all right. Do we see some Boolean logic in there? Yes, we do. So anyway, different things in there. Math and trig, lots of different functions in there, of course. Okay. Data. You can pull in data from Access, which is Microsoft's database software. Okay, we're not going to cover Access because we don't have it in the labs here, and so I wouldn't be able to cover it in an actual face-to-face class, so we won't cover it here either. But you're more than welcome to, mess around with Access if you're interested in database stuff. Okay. All different kinds of data tools here, depending again on what you're doing. Review, the same type of thing. Check your spelling. Insert comments if you want to do that. View, what do you want it to look like? All right. Page break previews. It's going to show you where the page breaks are. It's pretty nice. Okay, go away, right? Custom views. So you would put in here like what you wanted to look at. Different windows, all kinds of things. Freeze panes. This is super nice if you are working on like data entry. Okay, believe me, I've had my share of data entry jobs. You're typing away, entering all sorts of information. You're like, crap, I forget which column is for what. What you can do is decide to freeze that top row. So usually this is where you're going to have your labels. And so even as you scroll down to 165, this remains locked up here at the top, so you still know like what you're working on. It's a very nice feature, but we don't want it on this whole time. Okay, unfreeze takes that away. So let's see what else I can show you. Maybe I want you to, if you do any sort of division, darn, I got rid of my PowerPoint. If you do any sort of division, in Excel, you're just going to use this slash, okay? So if I want to divide again, let's pick on cell A1. Oops, we forgot our equal sign. Equals A1 divided by A3, say. Let's put in some sort of numbers in here. Okay. And when I did that, I erased my information that I was doing. Oh, sorry, it's right here. I forgot what cell I was working in. I was working in L13. L13. So, A1 divided by A3, I want the answer to appear here, and there it is, because 3 divided by 1 equals 3. Okay. If you're going to do multiplication, you'd use a little asterisk, which is right above the 8 on your keyboard. Okay, do that. Press Enter. Again, our number's 3. I probably should pick something other than 1 over here. Let's do 9. Okay. When I do that, look, automatically updated it for us. Isn't that pretty? I just love it. So, let's see if I could quickly go over your assignment. Okay. First assignment. Open and save the workbook named Plain Toys. You'll find it under the same where you found this video on D2L. Okay. Make the following formatting changes. So it's going to tell you exactly what to do. Try and do your best. If you have questions, definitely email me. When you're done, save the workbook with the new name Formatted Toys and submit it to me via Dropbox. Okay. This assignment would be great on following directions and make it visually pleasing. So as far as an Excel workbook can be visually pleasing, right? Let's close that one. Let's close out our Excel. No, we don't need to save. Oh, let's close that. And now let's look here. Here's part 2. Okay. Part 2, I have 8 seconds. Open and save the workbook named My One Candy. Select the data for just USA and UK. Make sure to keep total 100 and create a chart.